Hello again, everyone. This is part two of my recent finds. First album I'll show you is John Entwistle. Rigor Mortis Sets In loving memory of rock and roll, 1950 to infinity. Never really passed away, just ran out of time. John Entwistle had a wonderful black sense of humor, and this is, I think, his second or third solo album. We have a British coffin inside Tink. There's the grave. Death of rock and roll. Well, I'm not sure when it really died. Maybe maybe in the 80s, I'm not sure. But John Entwistle had a wonderful black sense of humor. And Dr. Deadwax, I actually looked in the dead wax of this, and there's nothing in the dead wax, unfortunately. But it is an original pressing, though, on Track Records. And another John Entwistle album. It's called Too Late the Hero. This from about 1981. And this one has Joe Walsh and Joe Vitale all over this. There they are in the sharks' mouths. I think that completes my John Entwistle vinyl collection. A lot of these albums, when I picked up, they're to fill in gaps in my collection. Roy Harper. It's called One of Those Days in England. It's a Hypnosis cover on this one. I have, I think, 3 other Roy Harper albums. Hats off to Roy Harper, as Jimmy Page would say. This is from 1977. It's Canadian pressing. Chrysalis Records. I'm not sure if this has been released in this form in vinyl. Jimi Hendrix soundtrack from the soundtrack recordings from the film Jimi Hendrix, and double album. It's a lot of live recordings from the film. And I don't know if I've ever seen the film, but this is a second copy. I already had a copy of this, but I thought this was in better shape than the one I had, so I picked it up. A little bit of heavy metal. It's Judas Priest, British Steel. Love the cover on this one. It's Paul Kantner, Grace Slick, and David Freiberg. David Freiberg was in Quicksilver Messenger Service for a while. I think he started it, and then he joined Jefferson Starship Airplane later on. But this album has a beautiful cover. I don't know what the music's like. It didn't sell very well. Oh, this release, it's on RCA, the Grunt imprint, Canadian, and it's on the Budget series. It's an AYL1 prefix, so it would have been available for a $5.98 list price here in Canada. Another psychedelic masterpiece. The Lemon Pipers, Jungle Marmalade, on Buddha Records, and this is an American pressing, not a Canadian pressing. It's a cutout. There's here on the bottom you see the little hole there. It was drilled, so it was probably brought into Canada as a cutout and sold here cheap, probably in the bargain bins. But a lot of this bubblegum stuff was kind of psychedelic, and Jelly Jungle is a great song, just a great song. Johnny Loveson. This is a Canadian record. Johnny Loveson was this dude, that young guy that Toronto that was playing guitar all over town in the 70s, and you'd hear his name, and he played a few clubs and things like that, and he was playing in the street and stuff. He was busking or something, playing guitar. And there are some YouTube videos. You might want to check him out. Great guitar player, just a fantastic guitar player, but his career went nowhere, and I don't know why. It's just one of those things. This album's from 1977, although I think it was released in 1980, but the recordings were from about 1977, 78. He just never got it together for whatever reason. Nick Lowe, Nick the Knife. It's one of Nick's albums from the early 80s. It was around the time that he was married to Carlene Carter. Carlene sings backup on this, and in the backup band we have, I think, members of the Rumor, or I guess perhaps Brinsley Schwarz. And see, Paul Carrack is also on this album too. Great pop songwriter is Nick. This is the only Manfred Mann album that I don't think I have from the 70s and 80s. I do like Manfred Mann. This is called Angel Station. Manfred Mann and Argent always seem to me to be similar kinds of bands. 1973, John Mayall, The Turning Point. And the musicians on this one, John Mark and Johnny Allman, who were also in the Mark Allman Band. Steve Thompson. This is an album I was kind of happy to find. Although it's not really uncommon. It's Nectar, Recycled. It's on Passport Records, although in Canada, Passport was distributed by GRT. Nice, colorful, psychedelic cover. It's not a Hypnosis cover this time, though. Here's another really cool one, cool cover too. It's The Ventures in Space, featuring Out of Limits and Penetration. It's a really good Ventures album. Nice stereo copy of this. I think that's a guy and a girl there, and they're hot rodding. Is it Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles, where they used to go parking in the early 60s? There's the guys. Last one to show you. Frank Zappa, the soundtrack to 200 Motels, double album. United Artists, though. There's an orchestra there on the back. I'm kind of hit and miss with Zappa. And his 60s albums were really groundbreaking, and then in the 70s I thought he kind of sold himself short for quite a while, and kind of appealing to the lowest common denominator or something. This is from 1971, and I don't recall ever seeing the movie, although I haven't heard good things about it, but I'll see what the album's like. Thanks for watching, everyone.